Okay, I'd like to welcome you to what we're going to use for a teacher development program. On this Saturday, today is Thursday as we're taping this, we're going to be joined by Marina from AGBU ABC in Yerevan, Armenia. We're going to be joined by Enrique from Peru, Lima, Peru. And we're going to be joined by Lovely from Nigeria. And then hopefully we'll be joined by some of my students in this particular classroom. Today's topic we're working on is about the Armenian situation today as we see it. And also we're preparing for the 75th anniversary of the term genocide. And this year, for our project of genocide, or geography of the genocide project, we are actually teaching teachers how to teach about genocide. And this month is all about the Armenian genocide. And to preface this is actually couldn't ask any more topical. A lot of people think the Armenian genocide started April 24th, 1915 and ended October 29th, 1923 with the Republic of Turkey. But we will probably end up seeing that today, I believe in our Marina will be able to tell us a little bit more, but a whole area that should have been part of Armenia that was given to Armenia by the 28th president of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, under the Treaty of Sevres, which was a legal treaty, that that country no longer really exists, and all the people have immigrated to Armenia with very little possessions. And she can tell you a little bit about the good work that AGBU is doing there. Hara is from South Lebanon, and she's joined us here today as well. And let's go around and kind of introduce ourselves since we're doing it. I'll start with myself. My name is Michael Cunningham. I very interested in this project for a long period of time now. I tell a story. I was 27 years old when I found out I was Armenian, and have been very active in the Armenian community since then, at that time. And let's go to Hara. Could you introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Marina. Hara.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're fine.
Can you hear me? This is Hawra Aghandour. I am from South Lebanon, and I am a global teacher. I've been working in teaching English and joining international projects with Bridge Council and with World Class and with eTwinning. I'm very happy to join this project, as in Lebanon we have many Armenians who live here with us, and they are very strict to their culture.
Okay. Marina, could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks a lot. My name is Marina Khachaturian, and I am from Yerevan, Armenian Virtual College, AGBU. I work here as an education team manager after I completed my mission as first as an education program coordinator and online instructor, and I am an education team manager, and my responsibilities include overseeing different instructional approaches, curriculum design, development, assessment, evaluating existing tools, methodology, providing recommendations for enhancing the learning process, also designing new courses, and etc. and etc. And we are working with Mike for a few years already on different projects. And this is a great honor to know and collaborate with you, Mike. Thanks a lot for including me in this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Lovely, could you introduce yourself, please?
Lovely, your microphone.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Try to connect the plug of your microphone in your mobile. Try to the microphone connection is not working. The earphone is okay. You're listening to us. Cancel the earphones and try to talk directly.
We still
No
can't
audio.
hear. Well,
Take out the earphones. Take out the earphones and use the built-in loudspeaker. Cancel your earphones. They're creating a conflict. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you
Now,
now fine.
Can you hear me?
no.
Okay. I'm a Bojolovne from Nigeria. I'm a teacher. I teach chemistry, physics, biology in different institutions. I'm presently a member of the world class, and
The connection was lost.
Yeah, it may be intermittent some, but Enrique, introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about the project we're going to start with you guys on an idea about Armenian in the videos, okay?
First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you, Marine. And we are very thankful that I can promote all these wonderful projects and programs. I am very lucky for sharing a friendship that lasts more than 12 years with Mike. More than that, we are creating some kind of consciousness and awareness about the tragedy that the great people in Armenia have suffered. And we want the generations to be alert, and at the same time, we can learn from the brave spirit of Armenians. You have created an identity of a strong, of being a strong community. Thanks to these inspirational points, Mike is promoting in the local group in Latin America. We are developing, making contact with teachers in Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela. At the same time, my friend Jaura Gandur is going to be the representative of what is the project developed by Mike in the Middle East. She is from Lebanon. She has good contacts in Egypt, Morocco, and Sudan. And also our friend Lovelin, she works in Nigeria, and she has 5 English-speaking countries ready to join this wonderful project, and at the same time to share with the entire world how the Armenian people is surviving these massive killings, these atrocities that I don't know why only the Holocaust suffered by the Jewish can be known when the Armenians are suffering. We cannot be indifferent, and we need to create a new concept of consciousness because it's unacceptable what this great nation is suffering after the Ottoman Empire, Azerbaijan, Turkey, ambitious proposals, and also from the Russian Federation. It is incredible that these people is facing these terrible circumstances. With Mike, had wonderful ideas and projects. We have created a contest in which students, professional filmmakers, or even script writers can join us by sharing a 4-minute video describing the dignity and the courage of the brave people from Armenia, my dear Marine.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think what Enrique's powerful idea is, it makes so much sense, is that I was explained to him that on December the 4th, we're going to be celebrating that 75th anniversary of the term genocide. And since Raphael Lemkin actually, kind of coined it from the Armenian genocide, and we're using it to pass out certificates and other things like that to commemorate, some of this, it would be really good to start this contest. Now, Enrique did not say, but he's involved in a project where we have a bunch of directors and filmmakers and stuff like this that are also going to, on a professional basis, are going to try to do some things. And I thought maybe that we could have the students in the schools do the same thing. So we're going to try to have two routes. One would be a student route, one would be a more professional route, and then give them some award. The award would be basically a certificate, like what we're trying to do with the other people for that December the 4th. But then we would introduce it to AGBU and the people at Yerevan in the conference we had. We would run it as an honor for them, and then publish it so more people could be able to do it. So this would go directly into classrooms in probably about 15 or 16 different countries. And mostly what we're trying to do is to get the awareness out there, because we do feel that awareness is about the best way to stop the edgicide and stop the things that are going on. And conversely, after I was telling them about, the troubles, and then with Armenia joining the ICC, I think the parliament voted the day before yesterday to join the ICC, is that we need to try to encourage the diaspora and other people and to clamor for a legal consideration and actually bring to trial or bring to court the idea that you can solve some of your problems through that, and go back to the old idea that we might use history for our side, and and explain some of the stuff like I was trying to explain in that thesis. We can't just sit there and do nothing. And then Enrique decided to help out with this deal, and I thought it was marvelous. So I said, well, would you please come today and explain this to Marina? And I think they would be more than welcome, because it doesn't involve too much of anything from AGBU, but they could get a lot of benefit from it, because all of a sudden we could spread the word about AGBU, AVC, and other places, and get these people involved in other different projects besides just this for the December the 4th. What do you think?
Marine?
Yeah.
I want to add some words after what Mike has mentioned. To have a guarantee that behind Haura Gandur and Evoyot Loveling, we have a team of teachers and professionals that are eager to collaborate in this project. At the same time, Evoyot Loveling and Haura Gandur, they are trained to provide the best elements for their institution, for their schools, so their students can learn and have a great experience in the process of acquiring knowledge. I know that you are sharing several courses, classes in which our students need to think in a global way. We want to have a community of global citizens that are not indifferent in what is happening in Nigeria, also in what is happening in Lebanon or Peru or any other country. For us, it is a real honor to be members of the World Affairs Council in Austin, a program that Mr. Cunningham leads. We know his commitment, and it inspires a lot for us to make the same. Laura is here. Behind her, there is more than 5 countries in the Middle East. Globally has 5 countries in Africa and me too. We are going to be the transmission chain of the project that you want to develop. But our main interest is not only to receive a good educational opportunity to receive international certificates. We want to promote, as I said before, a global consciousness in which our students can accept the difference, the ancestral heritage that you have, your music, your gastronomy, the beautiful landscapes that you have in your country, the same in Nigeria, the same in Lebanon. We have a lot of wonderful things to do ahead because we share the same spirit, my dear friend. It is a real prestige to be representatives and coordinators, the World First Council, and also we belong to World Class Classrooms, also another program developed by Mike Cunningham. But I can give some minutes, sorry, to Laura to tell us the experience that she has interacting with Armenian refugees in Lebanon. Can you say something, Laura, please?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So there were several questions addressed to me. Mike, how would you
Right.
like me to proceed?
Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts, and then I want to ask you some questions. We want to talk to you about Armenia, so we could put it on for Saturday's deal as well. But go ahead and see what you think about this.
About the internship program, you mean first?
Yeah. I'll ask you about that. I just, what do you think about the video idea and for the, December the 4th meeting and stuff like that?
Yeah, this is of course a brilliant idea. We can maybe start implementing our internship program that we were talking about. We have in place is designed to provide teachers with hands-on experience in an online and real classroom settings. The primary goal of our intern program is to prepare future educators for their careers by allowing them to apply their knowledge and teaching techniques in a particular environment. Typically, you know that our intern program runs for a specific duration, like a term or an academic year, during which interns work alongside with experienced teachers. But we are also very flexible in terms of our days and deadlines to accommodate to any situation and any needs that you may offer or you may have. Interns actively participate in different classroom activities, including lesson planning, teaching lessons, assisting with classroom management, participating in different webinars and seminars. They gain deep understanding of classroom dynamics and students' engagement. Each intern is paired with an experienced online instructor who serves as a mentor and provides guidance, feedback, and support to help interns grow as educators. In addition to classroom experience, interns often participate in professional development workshops and seminars to enhance their teaching skills and knowledge. Successful completion of the intern program may lead to certification, as you know, which is often a requirement for becoming a licensed teacher. Hosting intern teachers can benefit schools or any educational institution by providing additional support in the classroom and fostering a culture of continuous learning. Interns gain practical experience, build their teaching portfolio, and develop valuable relationship within the educational community, which is quite big, at AVC. Our program encourages interns to engage with the local community and develop a deeper understanding of the unique needs and challenges of the students they will serve, and also communicate with other that create a network, a more global network. Intern program is comprehensive education experience experience that prepares future teachers for the classroom, equipped them with the skills, confidence needed to excel in their teaching careers. I think this is what I wanted to mention about the specific intern program.
Yeah, I asked her to talk a little bit about the intern program. I hadn't really shared with you that, Enrique and her, but what we're trying to do is to capture students and maybe even paraprofessionals or people who have gone to college, but try and look to get into teaching or something like that. We have a lot of people here in the States in that direction. And we have a lot of high school seniors and things now that are taking college classes and they want to be educators. And this is actually a program that in which they would get practical experience. Plus we get to get the benefit of doing AGBU classes. And these AGBU classes are just marvelous. I could tell you, I've taken I've taken several classes. I don't know, 14, 15 classes. And very, very good classes. And they're in 6 or 7 languages now. I think they added Portuguese.
8. We have
8
added
languages.
Portuguese, yeah,
8
of
languages.
instruction.
So
Yeah, I can briefly
Maria-
introduce. Yes, please.
Spanish
Maria,
and Portuguese for Latin America for sure.
Marian, can you share with us the PDF of the programs that you share, because we need a written document in order to share with our colleagues what you providing.
Yeah, I can actually send you some of those for you, Enrique.
Yeah, I also
Okay.
can share after we finish. And if you want, I can briefly introduce
ahead.
the programs that we have at AVC for those who are still not so familiar with AGBU AVC Armenian Virtual College, that offers a range of opportunities and resources for international students and teachers interested, not only students, please pay attention, but also teachers interested in Armenian culture, language, and education. For example, Armenian language courses provide comprehensive courses suitable for learners of all levels, from beginners to advanced speakers, and in 8 languages of instruction, and the Portuguese is brand new. Among these languages is English, Russian, French, Spanish, Turkish, Western Armenian, Eastern Armenian, and also the Portuguese. These courses are designed to help international students acquire proficiency in the Armenian language. We also have cultural education courses and resources that delve into Armenian history and culture and heritage. These programs provide valuable insights into Armenia's rich cultural traditions and history. AGBU AVC provides a wide range of educational materials, including textbooks, multimedia content, online libraries, ebooks, to support both students and teachers in their learning and teaching endeavors with vast of materials and content. AVC offers training and professional development, which I mentioned earlier, opportunities for educators interested in teaching Armenian language and culture. This includes teaching, training programs, and workshops. AGBU AVC online learning platform enables students and teachers from around the world to access courses and resources conveniently, fostering a global community of learners. Our online format offers flexibility for students and teachers to access content from anywhere, making it accessible to a global audience at any time you may need. The college offers certification for completed courses, which can be valuable for both students and teachers looking to demonstrate their proficiency and expertise. AGBU AVC fosters cultural exchange also by connecting students and educators, like we do today, interested in Armenian language or culture, history, creating a global network of individuals passionate about Armenian heritage. International students and teachers can benefit from a supportive online community, allowing for collaboration, discussions, networking with peers who share similar interests. Overall, AGBU AVC serves as a bridge for international students and teachers who wish to explore Armenian culture, language, and education. Whether you are seeking to learn Armenian, teach Armenian, or simply gain a deeper understanding of Armenian rich cultural heritage. So AVC provides valuable resources and opportunities for the engagement.
Yeah,
That's very briefly.
One thing, Enrique, especially if you start studying Armenian history, you'll see how Armenia was basically in the center of the universe for several thousand years. So it was a buffer between Rome and Persia. It was part on the Silk Road. You name it, and Armenia was in the middle of it. I had developed a 26-minute video, but you could take a look at people like Brad Pitt, people like Barack Obama, Dick Cheney, George W. Bush. They all have Armenian heritage. They may not know it, but they do, and they're all related. So quite a few people have Armenian heritage that they don't really know about. But since it was such a pivotal part of history, and what's even a little more strange is that many Turkish people have Armenian history too, and they don't even know it. So
I was amazed that the concept Christianity was developed in Armenia. I mean, it's a country. It's something we are learning a lot about how universal is the influence that the Armenian history has all over the world. It's something that's incredible. But another question, why the Jewish Holocaust has been promoted with more intensity than the tragedy that the Armenian people is suffering? Why? And do you receive any moral ideology support from a community, I mean the Jewish community, who has suffered these atrocities, or they are indifferent with the dilemma they created in Armenia?
This is a very difficult question, to answer. We have different hypotheses why it happens. Mike, if you want to step in.
Yeah, it's getting really ridiculous. The foe of the Armenians right now is located capitals in Baku, and they have arms dealings and surveillance dealings and all kinds of stuff with Israeli defense. And Israel is probably not necessarily at this point something you would want to discuss with a lot of Armenians, because they're very upset over that. But one thing I would like to talk from historically, much of my Jewish relatives actually came from Armenia. Armenia at one time historically had a large Jewish population, and some of the royal families were actually Jewish as well as that. So if you think about it, Noah's Ark ended up settling on Mount Ararat, and remember Noah was one of the Abrahamic religions. At one time, this area was considered maybe even the Fertile Crescent was maybe even the Garden of Eden. You take a look at Armenia historically, there's a lot of not controversy. There's a lot of things that you could see that would have ties. Saint Bartholomew was actually killed. He went to Armenia to conquer, and he went not conquer to on request of the apostles, and he and Thaddeus, I think it is. But Bartholomew, you'll see a famous statue of him. He has his skin overlapping his arms. He was killed, and then they skinned him alive, or excuse me. And that took place not too far from Baku, which was actually at that time Eastern Armenia. But I would say that in the genocide thing, I gotta be real careful. In the genocide studies, it doesn't really make a difference. Armenia was the second largest genocide of the 19th century.
Yes.
Circassian genocide was probably a little bit larger, but that the 1894-95 genocide was really bad. And Armenia was the largest per capita genocide of the 20th century. It wasn't the largest genocide. There were two ones that were larger, the Holocaust, but even larger than that was the Holodomor in the Ukraine, where 7 to 12 million people were starved by Stalin. So there are there are some things that are really bad. And you brought up something, Enrique, that I think is really powerful. Saint Gregory the Illuminator, he is thrown into a pit, and Marina will tell you much more about the story about that. He stays in this pit for 13-something years. He's fed secretly by some people. He comes out
by the sister of Tigran, of the Tigris.
Yeah, and what's really funny is that a couple of generations later, their families married. So I'm related to both Tigran and I'm related both to Saint Gregory. So, you know, at the time they're not seeing each other, but you know, but that ends up happening quite common in Armenia. Make a long story short, they are the first Christian nation because in 301 they actually declare that they become Christian, and then you have stories about Tigran going ahead and allowing that to be baptized, and the whole nation becomes baptized under the ability of the king. So the king was the first one to do it about 12 years before the Edict of Milan in 313, and it was 24 years before the Council of Nicaea. And remember, Rome doesn't officially really become Christian until several councils later. So they were at least 12 years ahead of the Edict of Milan, which the Edict of Milan just basically gave tolerance, not acceptance. And then one of Constantine's descendants that took over went back to be pagan. So Rome went, after Constantine died, Rome becomes pagan again for a bit, and then they become back to go Christian. But Armenia has never wavered, very, very strong, and it's a central part of one of the reasons why they've been able to withstand so much, being taken over by several different countries, going on the map, going off the map, going through a genocide, going through several genocides, going through some mistreatments, and then even going through the Treaty of Sevres, and that Woodrow Wilson actually arbitrated a line of demarcation around, and all the people that signed the treaty, including the legitimate government of Turkey, said, yeah, this was okay. And then Mustafa Kemal decided on his own that let's just go take what we can of the western part. Then he comes out and gets a couple of treaties himself, although he's not the legal government to do it. So yeah, it gets fascinating, but it gets really real for me, because it's like studying my relatives that I never got to meet. So that part, I think one day when we end up in our eternal rewards, we get to actually sit down and talk and see that. But they'll take stock and see, what did you do, to help out. And that's why it's so personal to me, is I really think that we need to take this very seriously, because I think that poem that came for the Jews, and that was written during the Holocaust, is very especially. Oh, hey, I'm not really related to that. I'm an American or whatever. No, I'm actually Armenian. You may be Armenian. If your family came from Spain, if you go back to any of the royals, much of the royals were actually Armenian as well. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. But I hope that answers your question, because I don't think we gain much by trying to quibble about which is worse or whatever, because at some point all genocides are really bad, all mistreatment is really, really bad. I just really feel much I think a lot of people have been supporting the Holocaust, and that's really good. I've done a lot of Holocaust studies myself, and I'm working on a project with Belarus that had in that area. I have a certain affinity because some of my relatives were Jewish, and that's really good too. But I think it's I forget, Asatrini, I can't pronounce it right, family. But there are several families that are intermixed in the royal families of Armenia that have strong Jewish roots. So they'll trace it back to King David and stuff. Okay.
There is something very important because one way or another, we have something that has come from Armenia through their art, music, culture. Armenia has enriched the global cultural mosaic. We need to know that the Armenian people is not only survivors, you are creators, innovators, and contributors to the improvement of humanity. The situation that in Armenia is being experienced, the brave Armenian people have shown their strength, unity, and the power of preserving their identity through centuries of adversity. That's something that every one of us face in an individual moment in our own lives. That's why the Armenian tragedy touched the heart and the spirit of each one of us. There must be political interest to avoid people knowing about the suffering, but we have any connection with the Armenian culture in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Like we can't move that we're Catholics like them. We cannot ignore how they have preserved their unity, their religion, and their customs. It's something incredible how in the US, I have several videos of youngsters cleaning in California, and how strong are the roots of people who have been born in the US, but they have ancestors that have come from Armenia. The identity is very, very strong.
Yeah.
So
Glendale, Glendale is probably one of the largest, it's right outside Los Angeles. It's one of the largest enclaves of Armenians people. And then California has a large percentage. And then what's happening now is a lot of people from California are moving because of taxes and other situations. And a lot of them are moving to Texas. We have several our Armenian churches here, one in Dallas, one in, we have a mission parish here, also a mission parish in San Antonio, and we have a large parish in Houston. And then you go outside of Massachusetts, and then that's probably the second largest one. Watertown, some other areas outside of Boston were navigated where a lot of Armenians went to. So you have that issue. Now, I need to try to ask Marina a couple of questions because I told her I would, but not only that, but we need to kind of put this.
We have touched some of them.
Yeah, you did. Let's go real quick. As an Armenian, tell us what is currently happening in your country. That would be a really good one.
Yeah, currently, as you know, we're facing we already faced the ethnic and cultural cleansing of Artsakh, the ecocide, along with genocide. Artsakh was facing a genocide. Almost 1,100 forcibly displaced people moved to Armenia from their historical homeland, facing dangers, having serious fears about their lives, the safety of their families, including the elderly and children. And that fear is justified by the large-scale military attack, as you know, carried out by Azerbaijan and Turkey against the people of Artsakh on September 19 and 20, during which civilian population and infrastructures were also targeted. The Armenian government, along with different organizations like AGBU and private sector and many, many other countries also joined them, make all efforts to provide necessary aid and first of all, the accommodation to the forcibly displaced people from Artsakh. As you know, during almost a year, they were closed, blockaded in Artsakh without food, without any medical and necessary supplements. So they were starving all this period of time, and eventually they had this way to Armenia and could hardly get into some places. You know, we had a lot of death cases during the way, the transportation, if we can say days of the elderly people and kids, and a lot of babies were born on the way, and some of them didn't survive because of all this terrible, it was a disaster. So this is what we are having. And the political situation in Armenia is not stable, as you know. We have different rebellions outside in the streets that are demanding that prime ministers the resign of the prime minister. Different political parties interfere and do not allow prime minister and his cabinet to work properly on the issue, forgetting that now it's not the moment, not the right time to, you know, decide who should be in the as a government body, but this is the time when we need to unite and just work towards saving of our territories, because probably you know that Azerbaijan is getting along with Turkey and the third parties is going ready to attack already Armenia, demanding the Zangezur corridor. Sorry, Mike, you are on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's kind of really odd. You know, it's almost like, okay, we know this, they're just trying to gobble up Armenia ever since the treaty that gave all Western, the western part of Armenia was taken over by the Turks under Mustafa Kemal, even though it was given to them. And all this other land that was given to the Armenia, today it's probably maybe 1/5 the size of what Armenia would have been right after the war. This is not going to stop. This is a piece by piece death of a country. So if you're trying to look at a genocide, this would be a perfect working type of genocide, and you wonder why people don't really catch on to it, or why we sit there. And we did this in 1919, 1920, 1921, 1920 at least till December. We sit there and do nothing. You cannot stop and sit there and do nothing, because there won't be anything left. As you people, I think I saw a deal, and I don't know the veracity of it, but they're changing street signs, they're changing names of towns, they're destroying monasteries already, and this hasn't even been a week since they've gotten into this thing. This is a complete and cultural genocide, and they're going to wipe out the idea that the Armenians ever lived there. Well, actually speaking, the Azeris came much after the Armenians did, and if it wasn't for oil in the Baku area, I think that they wouldn't have the power they do. But right now, Turkey needs some of the oil too. So Turkey and them are really good friends, even though the Azeri people are Turks as well. So, and then you have a person in power in Turkey that believes he wants to try to reestablish the Ottoman Empire. So, you know, that would be a inclusive little grab to get. And
great Quran.
Yeah, it's really bad. I don't want to mention it, but I did want to ask a couple other questions, if you don't mind.
Mike, the Turkey governors, the Turkey governors want to wipe out the civilian people. They don't want any Armenians to live in the area in which they have interest. They have an interest. Let me interrupt you, because in World War II, maybe the people needed 1, 2 years, 3 years to have an idea of what has happened in Europe. But now, with instant global communication, the tragedy that these brave Armenian people is suffering cannot be ignored. Right now, we have a concept, an idea of what's going on there, and we can imagine that 1.5 million people have been exterminated in mass killing processes. But the Turkish said no, that the Armenians are exaggerating. They also killed a lot of Turkeys in many processes, and there were only 300,000 people who disappeared. But you have another number. There is a conflict in that. but the diaspora all over the world, it says a lot on how the interests of Azerbaijan, Russia, Turkey have they have a lot of interest to take the most important things that your country have, and you haven't lost your identity. You keep strong, and you are fighting against adversities that people can ignore. I was not connected with this problem thanks to you, because in Bolivia there are little kids who have Armenian flags on art stack flags. In Nigeria, there are students who have an idea of what are the colors of the Armenian flag, and they consider their problem as ours. There is no extinction. There is no barrier for suffering. What happens in a community in Lebanon, we cannot ignore. That's why it's the concept that Mike has developed for many years in order to have a global citizen community that is not only related to the borders of their country. Our sensitivity goes far beyond our borders. And by doing what you do, you can count on our help and support. And I want to listen our Haura Gandour. Haura, are you there? I know that you have something to say.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, sure, dear. I'm here. I would like to mention some comments regarding Holocaust and the comparison between genocide and Holocaust. You know, being here together and our international team, we are together because we believe in the word peace, and we believe that we are against any kind of terrorism or any kind of allegations against people. And I don't think, from my opinion, as a person living in the South Lebanon, I would never agree in comparing between the Armenian people and the story of what's happening here in our nearby. Regarding the Armenians are very peaceful people here in Lebanon. They are people who call for peace, who call for cultural interaction, who are very adhered to their culture, to their language, to their religion, to their openness, to their education, and whatever. They are peaceful people, and that's why if we just compare all the refugees that came to Lebanon during all these 4 years, the Armenians were the best people regarding how they behave in a very beautiful way. They have their own community, and at the same time they show a kind of respect to our culture and respect to our rights and whatever. So from my own background, I feel that it's not fair to compare. I would like just to, between quotations, to mention this point. And regarding what magnetizes me regarding this genocide project is that I would like to mirror and to let people see the Armenian culture and the Armenian community that is living here in Lebanon, and how it is contributing to the Lebanese community, whether in education, whether in culture, whether in crafts. You know that here in Lebanon, the Armenians who live in Burj Hamoud are well known for their crafts and for jewelry. They are people who not only kept and preserved their language and their culture, but also even their handmade crafts, which is very interesting to share and to show others that this point. I would like to show and to make like a kind of a comparison how what we are suffering from Lebanon here is also going in a way or another to influence the Armenian community, because they are living with us, and they are exposed and vulnerable to any challenges that we are facing. But again, what we want to do and what we are here is to show that we appreciate heritage and we appreciate culture, and we want to look from the bright side always. We'd like to show that people can interact with each other, engage with each other, but what is important is to keep their heritage inside them and to transcend it to the coming generations, because no matter what we gain in life, it's very important to keep our roots living down.
Thank you so much. I was going to ask a few other questions here, if you don't mind, but one thing that's very important, Hara, is that we need to get you guys involved in these Armenian classes when it comes to the culture. They have Armenian music classes, they have Armenian architecture classes, they have Armenian history classes. It would be very good to talk to when it comes to some of the people, and that you get a much better idea of what's going on. Now, I have one of the people that have been trying to.
My voice is like, sorry.
Yeah, I told you we had a flood, and this is what comes back. We're going to be right here in this question.
Number 3.
3.
Okay, so the question is, tell us about growing up in Armenia. Were there more survivor stories?
Yeah, what kind of survivor stories, or when you were growing up in Armenia, Marina, what type of survivor stories did you hear? And when we start seeing the people start talking from the people that just escaped from the Azerbaijan right now, controlled areas, and what kind of stories are you hearing from those people? Could you give us a kind of sense on that, basically, because you know, as the survivors from the first genocide are leaving us, and these survivors are just coming to us. Maybe we can hear some of the stories from you guys directly. Could you tell some?
I'm the third generation survival of genocide, and if we start from the beginning, growing up in Armenia, it was shaped by our nation's rich history and the incredible resilience of my people. Our history is marked by significant events, most notably the Armenian genocide, and the tragic chapter that left us with numerous tales of survival passed down through the generation. In Armenia, these stories of survival are woven into the fabric of our society. As a child, I was often captivated by the narratives shared by my grandparents and my parents from both sides. They recounted the hardship faced by them during those trying times. These stories not only spotlight the strength and the endurance of the Armenian people, but also emphasize the importance of cherishing our culture and heritage. My mother's side, mom from my mother's side, she was the survivor from the Kars, and she was 6 years old when she passed through the desert together with her 3 brothers, and she faced her mother suicide. When Turks tried to rape and kill her, she threw herself into the river from the rock, and all this was in front of her children. My grandmom, suddenly she grew up in a moment and had to to be already in the role of mother together with her little brothers. They crossed the desert and they went to Syria. In Syria, my grandmother was adopted and she escaped from the ship. Can you imagine? And eventually she was looking for her brothers and could find them in Tbilisi, in the orphanage. She could reunion with them, and she worked hard in the factory. She was 14 when she met my grandfather, who was 18 years old, and he was the survivor of the genocide of Nakhichevan. when Nakhichevan was given by Lenin to Azerbaijan. Again, there were massacres there, mass killings, genocide, and he was a kid when he escaped from, and he always remembered her pregnant mother was cut into pieces just in front of his eyes. So they met, they were very young, and they got married. At first, my grandfather thought that he was growing her up, yeah, to prepare to become mother because she was 14 years old. And since she had little brothers, he adopted them as well. And they lived as a big Armenian family, renting a house. And I remember my grandmother was telling the first day when they moved into that renting flat, they didn't have anything to eat. And all the neighbors, they were, you know, in Tbilisi, there was a multicultural society. All the neighbors were looking at an interesting young family, what they are going to do into, you know, their different holes from the window. And my grandfather said, okay, just put the bowl with water on the stove as if we are cooking the dinner. So that was their first evening, hungry evening when but they worked hard. They eventually, my grandfather had a very good life, and they improved their living. My father's side, they were intellectuals from Igdir, and they escaped to Echmiadzin, to Eastern Armenia, and they left behind a huge estate. They were very rich in Igdir. They had even their own like a farm, yeah, something like a farm. Because when I found the plan of their house, it was very interesting. My grandmother drew it and wrote everything: how many animals, how many ambers they had, whatever they had in Igdir. So they dug into the earth 2 jars of gold in order to come back someday and find this gold and do their living with this. But when they escaped from Igdir, they did, of course, they never came back. Once, some 6 or 7 years later, when they were sitting already in their house in Yerevan, somebody knocked their door, and it was a Kurd person from a Kurd from Turkey who brought them. I don't know, probably you don't know that there were difficult years in Armenia in 1930s, after genocide, the hunger, the starving people were, they didn't live a normal life. And suddenly knocked at the door, and he brought 1 jar of gold, saying that I found 2. One is for my family, and I think it is fair, and one is for yours. So this was, you know, a sudden miracle for my grandmother, my father's family, to have their living somehow. Hello, Darla.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Go ahead, Marine, please.
Hello, Darla. Hello.
Hello, Haura. Hello, Mike. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marine, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so these are different stories. These are my own stories. And throughout our history, we have faced challenging chapters, but we also witnessed countless stories of hope, resilience, and the strong spirit to rebuild. As I grew up in Armenia, the survivor stories served as a constant source of inspiration, continuing to shape our identity, reminding of the incredible strength that resides within the Armenian community. I want to mention that in remembrance of 108th anniversary of the Armenian genocide, AGBU Armenian Virtual College, we launched a new project that Mike, you know about this, which you can find on our website, where our e-learners from all corners of the world share their stories of their grandparents who have experienced the horrible massacres in the beginning of the 20th century. And it is called My Armenian Story of Survival. The project is called. The stories offer a unique perspective on the human toll of the Armenian genocide and serve as a reminder of the importance of honoring and preserving the memories of those affected. We believe that sharing these stories is very important since they can inspire others and provide a sense of connection, community across borders and generations. We hope that by sharing these stories, we can honor the legacy of those who lived through these difficult times and pay tribute to their courage and resilience.
Marina,
Something very important to mention, my dear Marine, is that even though you are facing a difficult situation, you share culture, you share knowledge, you encourage students and teachers to make their best in order to be active and positive agents of change in their communities. This is something unique. Someone who is being the victim of an aggressor has the time to share culture, knowledge, and inspiration to be better citizens. It's something that doesn't happen so easily during the path of history. That's something that we need to remark, highlight. I don't know how to say that, but Darla, I will like that you can say to our friend Noreen, Haura, what do you think about the projects that Mike are developing all over the world through his world class platform and his World Affairs Council in Austin? Tell us your opinion, please.
First, I apologize for noise behind me. They're doing construction. I think that it has been something that has been ignored for far too long. I think that he deserves our support. The Armenian people. I'm learning a lot. I have to admit, I have to claim ignorance. I was not terribly well educated until I got to know Mike a little better and what he was doing. And I'm not alone in that, but ignorance is no excuse. So I think that anything we can do to educate people, because once people know, then they will care. And that's the key, to make people care, because then they will act. And I think that any way that we can do that, through videos, through social media, through getting people active in other countries to draw attention to it, is warranted and needed and well deserved. So anything I could do personally to help. I know that Enrique is engaged. We have people in some other countries too that are interested, such as Bolivia and Nigeria. So let's draw attention to this, because these things are happening and people are not aware, and some people that are aware aren't aware that there's something that they can do. So if we can raise awareness, if we can give people an idea of some way that they can be proactive or not just reactive, I think is a great thing. So I applaud Mike. I know that he hasn't had a lot of support, but he deserves it, and I want to be there for him and to help him in this.
thank you. Okay,
Go ahead.
we're going to have to try to get back to asking Marina a couple of questions here a moment, if you don't mind. Now, the reason why we're trying to do this is we're trying to not only get awareness, but we're trying to change the way people think, and the way, and Darla mentioned about how people were taught. And Marina introduced me to some really nice scholars, and she was very helpful when I was writing my thesis. And one of the ideas of the thesis comes out to be is that this is purposely done, and it's called Edugicide, where we're changing the face of education. Turkey did it by basically changing the facts around and just trying to put a narrative in, and you pound that narrative to long enough, people actually believe it to be true. So if we can do like Darla said and throw water on some of these narratives, and all of a sudden people get shocked, maybe we can change our political leadership or vote for people that would actually do something. Because whether it be Woodrow Wilson or Joe Biden actually approved the genocide proclamation, But it's a lot more than just saying there was a genocide. You know, this is happening. We need to act, and people are hurting, and we need to provide things, and we need to stop this. So you just not acknowledge it. We got to do something about it. Lillian, go ahead and ask it.
How can students actually teach or help to teach teachers when it comes to genocide?
Using different materials, videos, testimonials, documentaries, ebooks. Also, AVC can be very helpful in this matter, completing history courses that we have, use our ebooks. It can actually contribute to genocide education by taking on leadership roles, initiating discussions, and providing teachers with valuable resources, invite guest speakers. Students can invite survivors. Yeah, I know where less and less survivors are there, but maybe the descendants of survivors, experts, scholars in the field of genocide studies to speak, compile research materials, documentaries, and books related to genocide. Also have some lead or participate in awareness campaigns centered around genocide remembrance days, and by fostering a collaborative and empathetic learning environment, students can help teachers extend their knowledge and effectively teach this important and sensitive topic, collaborating with different institutions as well.
Why is Armenian history important?
For several reasons. First is cultural heritage. We were talking about it very briefly. So Armenian history is rich with a unique and ancient cultural heritage. It includes distinctive art, music, architecture, and traditions that have influenced and enriched the world's cultural tapestry. Also, language preservation. Armenian boasts one of the oldest surviving languages in the world. The preservation of the Armenian language is vital to understanding linguistic evolution and cultural continuity. Religious significance that Mike already mentioned. Armenia was the first nation, as you know, to officially adopt Christianity as its state religion in the early 4th century. Armenian Christianity has a profound influence on the development of Christian theology and traditions. Also, geopolitical significance, as Enrique mentioned, Armenia's location at the crossroads of Europe and Asia has made a region of geopolitical importance and interest throughout history. And this is what we are witnessing today. I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately. Its history includes interactions with various empires and nations, and contributing to broader historical narratives. Genocide awareness is another reason. The Armenian genocide is a tragic chapter in history. Recognizing and remembering this event is crucial to promoting awareness of human rights abuses and preventing future genocides. Diaspora communities, another reason. The Armenian diaspora is spread across the world. And understanding Armenian history is essential for these communities to maintain their cultural identity and connection to their homeland. Historical resilience. Armenian history includes numerous instances of survival and resilience against adversity, providing inspiration and lesson in preservance. Contributions to civilization. Why not? Armenians have made significant contributions to science, literature, the arts, and other fields. Understanding their medicine also. Understanding their history helps acknowledge the contributions. Armenia's modern history is tied to its relationship with neighboring countries and international partners, especially now. Understanding its history is essential for diplomacy, for the correct diplomacy and international cooperation. Education and research. Also, Armenian history is a valuable field of study, contributing to historical research and academic scholarship. It also serves as a case study for various historical, political, and cultural phenomena. In summary, Armenia history is important because it contributes to global cultural diversity, preserves a unique language highlights religious significance and offers lessons in resilience, historical understanding. It also plays a role in contemporary geopolitical and modern diplomatic relations.
How can AVC change the way we teach and learn?
The Armenian Virtual College has the potential to transform the way we teach and learn by leveraging technology and innovative educational approaches. Here are some ways that AVC can bring about change. The global accessibility. AVC's online platform allows learners from around the world to access high-quality Armenian language and culture courses. This global reach can break down geographical barriers and connect learners to diverse international community. Flexibility. Also, AVC offers flexible learning schedule, allowing students to tailor their education to their individual needs and time constraints. The flexibility is particularly valuable for working professionals and students with busy schedules. Innovation in pedagogy. AVC can experiment with cutting-edge teaching methods such as gamification, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence to enhance the learning experience and engage students in new ways. Also, customized learning paths through data analysis and personalized learning platforms. AVC can provide customized learning path and recommendations for each student based on the progress and preferences. Also, cultural exchange. AVC can foster cultural exchange by connecting learners from different backgrounds and cultures and promoting cross-cultural understanding. It can also facilitate interaction with Armenian communities worldwide. Teachers training can offer professional development opportunities for teachers, equipping them with the latest tools and methods, techniques for online instruction. This can benefit educators globally. Also, diverse course offerings, expanding course offering to include a wider range of topics related to Armenian culture. History and language can attract a broader audience, and collaboration with different institutions as well. Partnering with educational institutions and universities can allow AVC to offer accredited courses and degrees further later on. Research and development. AVC can invest in research and evaluate the effectiveness of online education, pedagogical methods, and students' outcomes. AVC can create an active online community for students and alumni, fostering networking, support, and mentorship opportunities. Also, we have open educational resources, can make educational resources and content available openly, contributing to the global open education. Not can, but also it actually has already. You know, our education is open and free. So in essence, AVC AGBU has the potential to revolutionize education by making it more accessible, personalized, and interactive.
Yeah, it's a marvelous opportunity, and we're trying to introduce you guys to each other and through this video, different things. We're going to try to introduce the world more to some of the things that are going on in Armenia. But last question, I kind of like to ask you, what are you, as an Armenian citizen and a person that lives in Yerevan now, what do you see happening in the next year or so with the situation that's taking place in your country? And what concerns do you have if the world doesn't really stop with this happening?
Nothing. I can't say anything positive in this regard. If Europe and America doesn't step in, then I don't know. Nothing good will happen. We will end up as the history will repeat itself. Another 1915.
Yeah. So I mean, if you were going to make a plea to many of our international people, why is it so important for us today to try to spread the word to help you out? Because instead of a survivor story, we don't want to hear a survivor story about what's happening to you. We'd like to hear a heroic story about how things changed around. So what can we do? What would you like to, in this forum here, what would you like to say to the people listening to this?
So to spread the voice of justice and to make it recognizable for everyone, understandable if they want. I know that there are different interests here in this sense, but still people should understand that another genocide will open the doors for many other genocides. And we have to be united in this regard, because this is already, you see, we are developing in technology, we're developing in every area, in every field, but we are still killing people. Our neighbors are killing us as if it is, I don't know, middle century. This is unacceptable. This is very difficult for me to talk on this, Mike, because I'm very emotional in this sense, yeah, and I'm not a politician, and I hope very much that our government works really well now, understanding towards which they have to move, in what direction, because being together with Russia for all this, for more than 100 years, didn't bring us to the right corner.
Exactly right. And I don't wish, to bring any ill will or anything between us to talk about it, but it needs to be addressed in the respect of why this is so important. And I don't think we could put the same words together, but seeing the emotion coming from you when you were talking about it and stuff, this is an immediate problem that needs to be fixed. My study of this, we had the same problem back in 1919, and America sat and blinked and didn't do anything. When I was trying to, there is a idea out there, even in the Armenian community, in which, they think that, hey, we don't really need to worry about stuff, but, I'm not of that idea, and I can see the same things happening over and over and over again unless we change some people's opinions. So anybody that actually gets to watch this, or if you're watching this from as a teacher and you're training, this is a call out to actually call out arms to act. So you're not just helping your students, you're going to help make a difference in the world. And that's what a teacher really needs to do. If you're a global teacher, it's not just your classroom, it's the whole world. And you can really make a strong difference. So at that point, I'd like to end on this thing, at least end the recording part. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.